Okay, we're in Shinnston, finally. There might have been a house on this lot, but if there was, they would have thrown their stuff down this cliff. It's about a 40-foot drop. So, yeah, why would anybody put it in the privy right here if they could put it right there? Alright, I found this giant hollow. And it's real close to where a bunch of houses were. And here's a couple of mason jar lids. So I'm thinking probing this bank is a really good idea. There's got to be some bottles down here. Well, there is a dump down here, but it's not very old. But why would they have thrown it here? Maybe down deep it's old. It's got a little bit of 30s stuff, but mostly newer. It looks like somebody has found the spot and dug a little bit. Only 7 inches deep, but it definitely goes 3 or 4 feet deep at the bottom of this hill. Well, there's a keeper. Wow, it's broken. Domino Cosmetics. Yeah, this is a real big hollow. And it's mostly got 1950s and 60s and 70s trashed on it. I don't think I can get over there. There seems to be some kind of a waterfall cliff. I don't know, but it seems to be sparsing out as far as the trash is concerned. I've gone at least half a mile already. So back this way. Now here's a lot that had 3 houses in 1910 and 1923. And as you can see, there's a depression right here. I'm hoping this is a privy. Well, we have a rock wall. There must have been some house here 130 years ago. Something strange is up here. A big hole. I don't know. Can't understand it. Maybe it's a mine shaft for... Wait a second. There's a chimney right here. So there could have been another house here, and this could be a root cellar. Yeah, that makes sense. Seems to go under a ways. And then we have another sinkhole, which could be a privy. Nope. But we have another big hole over here. And another one up there. Okay. You can see this old hinge. So there obviously was a house. And here we have we are way out there, and yet there's a recently used road right here. So I'm kind of confused. What could possibly be up here? Oh, I see telephone wires. Yeah. It's just for maintaining the phone poles, I guess. And we have another hollow, or as the locals call it, a holler. So there could be some bottles down there. Well, it looks more like a man dug hole, a very large one. It could be a mine shaft for a coal mine. I really am not familiar with the whole procedure of coal mining, so forgive me. But and here's another one that has some trash in it, some old trash. This actually has a bunch of trash, a bunch of bottles even, but of course they're under the leaves, but I can feel them when I walk around, but they don't seem very old. 1947. There's also houses where this water treatment facility is, but there was also a few more in this vacant section, which I will probe next. There are some tremendously large lots, so probing it would be a week-long project. But we have a swing down here. I guess somebody's secret hideaway. But then there's a walkway to the river, and it's actually quite low, because there was a cliff about 40 feet high up the way. This is much easier to access. It's very unlikely I could walk that shoreline, but over this way it looks quite easy, and it looks like the water level is down lower than usual, so there's a very strong chance there could be some antique Pepsi bottles over here. Wow, look at that piece. At least we know we're on the right track. And we have a great sandbar or rock bar up here. That is a great place to look for bottles. Well, there's a debossed brick. If I was looking for bricks, I would have it made on this trip, but I'm looking for bottles and I'm not finding very many. West Virginia is becoming a challenge for me. I remember 15 years ago I walked this river, actually out in the water, several feet deep, and I walked about half a mile right close to downtown, and I found absolutely nothing, which was a surprise to me. I guess they were very conscientious about keeping the area clean even 100 years ago. Well, apparently creek walking in West Virginia is not a very good thing to do, because I only had luck in one town that way. Well, I found a broken aqua soda, and right next to it is another clear one. I think it's a squeeze, but that is the right age. They used these Pepsis in 1925 still, because they made a lot of them in 1924. Okay, there's some kind of bottle top, and then here's an extremely well hidden piece. Probably a beer. Well, the houses were right up on the top of that ridge, so there's very likely to be some bottles thrown down here. It's been raining a lot, and I slid all the way down this embankment. I really hate trying to find privies on lots this big. It's 300 feet deep and 1,000 feet long. I really don't like having to do all this, but the Pepsi bottles from this town are worth so much money. Not just about the money either. It's because they're beautiful, and I want one of every variant for my collection, and so does every other Pepsi collector out there. These are worth $400 to $1,400 each. Well, we have some kind of a structure over here. I don't know what it is. Yeah, I'm confused by this. But it has some kind of foundation right here. And another one over here, so I figure it must have something to do with the house. So I should go directly behind here and start probing. I actually found one. I don't feel any glass in it, but it's definitely a privy. And there's also a big sinkhole right over there. And another sinkhole right over there. Okay, there's a second privy right there. And the first privy is marked off right there. The third privy is right here. I haven't actually marked it off because it's so obvious. And then the fourth privy is probably right here. It's really hard to do this one-handed. Yeah, that was a third hole, and there's several more depressions back here. And these are big holes too, so I don't know why they would need so many privies, because these houses were only here for 25 years at the most. But the bank is right here, so I think I'm going to check for bottles down here. There's just got to be some bottles down here, but with so many leaves, 100 years of leaves on top of them will, you know, there's a 99% chance that they're going to be just too well hidden. Okay, there is a wall way up in there. I don't know if you can even see it through all these trees, but there's evidence of an old house, and we have evidence that somebody's been here 50 or 60 years ago. That is a real wide shovel blade. And then we have some kind of a big sinkhole. Well, that didn't produce any results, but right down the edge of the bank there's some trash all the way right here. Fairly modern, of course, but what would happen if you threw a bunch of soda bottles out? Would they go down the hill? Most likely, because it is a 47-degree angle. Well, I see evidence of someone having dug in the middle of this embankment. I think this whole embankment has bottles for 100 feet. It's just a matter of finding the old section. Where would that be? Well, here's a Coke bottle. Well, what's left of it. Clarksburg, West Virginia, of course. So I guess I'm going to start scratching at the top of the bank, and it looks like somebody's already been here. So as you can tell, there's a lot of people coming to this town because of the fact that the Pepsi bottles are so incredible from here. I just don't understand why I can't find anything old. I have looked all over here and seen all kinds of pieces of bottles, but all of them are fairly modern. These houses were here in 1910, and who knows how long before that. But where is all that glass from 1910 to 1925? Whoa, somebody's been digging up here at the top edge of the bank, and it looks very recent, like maybe in the last week even. But again, it's all 1940s and 50s and 60s trash. Oh, and then there's another bigger hole over here. Well, somebody's desperate to find some of those Pepsi bottles, I guess. But they must be discouraged by finding so much modern stuff. Well, 1945 to 1995. Well, I just don't know what happened to all the old trash. There was a lot of activity in the 20s and teens. I guess the best option is to go to the bottom of this bank and dig, because it is 4 feet thick at the bottom of some of this. Well, this is the main spot there's at least 1,000 bottles buried right here. And I just probed it all the way to the handle of a 3.5 foot probe, and it still kept hitting glass. So I'm going to open up a big hole right here. Well, I found this new looking 7-Up at almost the 3 foot level, so that's not too good. Okay, at the 4 foot level, I finally pulled out something pretty old looking. It's a cork top. I mean, it's old enough to have a 1925 Pepsi anyway, and that's what we're looking for. Well, I gave it a good try. I didn't think it would produce, but had to make sure. It could be that they just took their trash to a place 100 yards from here, because there actually is the town dump 100 yards that way. It was full of 1915 and 1925, and there was a lot of stuff there. I mean, 100 days of digging. Well, this is the only thing I found that was worth keeping. And it's barely worth keeping, but it says, of Maine. I've never seen one like it before, so I'll bring that one back. Since the cops come after me so often for digging, I made this sign. For such a primitive area, I'm surprised to see this. It says bike repair. It has a bunch of wrenches and an air hose. Pretty modern considering how old-fashioned this area of the country generally is.